Deja vu.
Have you ever picked up a book and said, haven't I read this book before? But after you check, nope, it's the first time? That's a Sci Fi Deja Vu. We're talking about books that have the same premises. Let's get into this video. So I've had this experience a couple of times on my reading journey where I'm reading a book and I realize that I have read something with the exact same premise. Luckily, it doesn't happen all that often, but I wondered if this is always a negative. As a matter of fact, as sci-fi readers, we tend to love science fiction books that blow our minds and are very original. However, I did realize that you can still have originality and freshness even if your book has the same premise as something else. It doesn't always have to be the most original idea, which is something that I absolutely adore. So I thought I would make this video as a list of 8 pairs of books that have the same premise, so you can decide which books did it better. Because even though these books are the same premise, they all did it very differently. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have more pairs to mention. Now, there is some spoilers in this video, so I will let you know in advance. 2 of the pairs of videos are kind of spoilery if I tell you why they are similar. That said, it won't spoil the total book, but it does spoil a couple of surprises in the plot. So I will save those for the very end, so that way you can have time to click off if you want to. That said, let's get into this list. So the first pair on this list starts with a novel and a novella. The novella is Tusks of Extinction by Ray Naylor, and it's paired with Mammoth by John Varley. This particular pair is similar because both of these books deal with resurrecting prehistoric mammoths based off of old DNA and new genetic engineering. Both of them, of course, are variably successful, but not everything goes according to plan. The next pair are ones that you may recognize. The first is Spin by Robert Charles Wilson, paired with Quarantine by Greg Egan. These books are similar because both of them start with the stars disappearing from the night sky. And that's because we find that the Earth has been encased with some kind of crazy substance that separates us from space and maybe time. All right, I'm gonna put Pico down. Thank you so much, Pico. He wants to go play. Aww. The next pair we have are oldies but goodies, and that is Nonstop by Brian Aldiss, paired with a novella, Orphans of the Sky by Robert Heinlein. These books are similar because both of them start with a regressed society of humans in tribal-like groups who have forgotten that they are on a spaceship. Now for a more modern pair, we start with Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton, and I pair this with Rubicon by J.S. Hughes. This pair is very similar because we have a world and a main character who remembers their deaths, specifically multiple deaths. As they die, their consciousness gets uploaded into new genetically cloned bodies, and they resume their existence to live another day and die another death. Then we're going to have a lesser known pair. This is going to start with Ill Wind by Kevin Anderson, paired with a book called Black Monday by R. Scott Reese. These books are very similar because both are eco-thrillers, and they both take place with the beginning of a microbe being created and then released that eats oil. And each of the microbes goes a little bit hog wild, and pretty soon Earth has no more oil left on the planet. What could go wrong? Guess you're gonna have to read them to find out. Now we have a threefer. This one is one of my all-time favorite premises. It starts with maybe the most famous book of them all, Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick, paired with Fatherland by Rob Harris, and also The Presence of Mine Enemies by Harry Turtledove. The premise of this one, if you haven't already guessed, is that we are in a future world that we do not recognize because the United States has lost World War II, and the Nazis and the Japanese have instead conquered all of the world. What would that future look like? And what would the future peoples of the world have to deal with on a day-to-day basis? These books are an incredibly fun premise, but very different books. And finally, we're going to get into the last two pairings. Now, like I promised, we have some mild spoilers that is going to kind of ruin some of the surprise of a story. If you leave me a comment in the comment section down below before you leave, that would be great. But let's get into these two pairs with mild spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first pairing is going to be Darwin's Radio by Greg Bear, paired with The Future Home of the Living God by Louise Eldridge. Both of these are dealing with a worldwide birth crisis. There are just not enough babies being born, and or there are a lot of stillbirths. And as we discover more and more about the investigation of the cause, that the human race is evolving. One of these stories is humans evolving forward, and another story is the humans evolving backward. I'll leave you to discover which book is which. And the last pairing for this video that has some spoilers in it is going to be Freeze Frame Revolution by Peter Watts, paired with Hull 03 by Greg Bear. Both of these books deal with a mystery aboard a spaceship. As we are slowly discovering, both of them are dealing with perhaps a malicious ship's AI. And that does it, you guys, for today's Sci Fi Deja Vu episode. I know it's a little bit of a short one, but you're going to have to let me know in the comment section down below if you know of any other sci-fi books that have very similar, if not the same premise. I am very interested to know if you have read any of these pairings and if you have a favorite. And otherwise, I would recommend some more sci-fi content down here. Thanks for watching! See ya in my next video.